See how many people tune in today. How good. I ain't got nothing to do for the next hour. Child, there's 4 people that have clicked this link. Let me know if you come through. I'll just edge my way into this not so safe highway / intersection. All right, let's get a move on. Awesome. Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to Inter Worldwide. I just figured I'm literally driving to a location about an hour and a bit from where I am now. Nothing really to do but think about Inter and think about the last couple of days and think about the last couple of moves. So to anyone who watches this back after it's recorded, let me know if you agree or disagree. I'm in a really good place with the club at the moment, and I think that most fans should be in a good place with this club at the moment, because the way that we have gone about this market and the way that we've treated the back end of the international tournaments, I think is good. I think is quite good. We're in a big position of leverage with a lot of our players and our assets here at the moment, and it was a position of leverage that we didn't have before under the previous ownership regime of Suning and Zhang, because of them being the overall owners of the club and their inability to basically pump any of their own capital, or they basically pay anything or get themselves out of any debt whatsoever. Despite the fact we had a really, really good backroom working for us, we were always shackled, always restricted. This market is a good one because we know what was needed. We knew what was needed for season 2024-25 around about, I would say around about March 2024, March this year, following the Atletico Madrid game, where we put together that run of form, which included the likes of, I think, Bologna, Empoli, Lecce, a couple of other teams, I forget now altogether who they were, but there was a run of games where we put together a certain amount of points, and the Scudetto was won well before the matches against Udinese, Cagliari, and then the penultimate game against Milan. And that was that we knew which players were leaving, and we knew which positions had to be filled straight away. And straight away, Alexis Sanchez out means Taremi in. That's why that was done. The negotiations were sealed up in the back end of January this year, and Taremi arrives with not a single issue. Not yesterday, the day before, or the day before that. I watched him in that friendly against Lugano. Yeah, it's a friendly. Yeah, that game means nothing. But I tell you what, man, he was great. His movement was awesome. There will be plenty of games this season where I can see him starting over Marcus Thuram. And if that's the case, then maybe Arnautovic is destined to stick around. And I'm fine with that as well. Staying on the striker and the forward situation, the one thing I wouldn't be happy about would be Joaquin Correa sticking around. The guy looks very thin, very demotivated, doesn't look like he's happy whatsoever. Looks like he's still full of regret for how the start of his Inter career went. And if that's the case, then that's just typical Joaquin Correa being a little bitch. He needs to build a bridge and get the fuck over himself, man. The guy has wasted so many years of his career playing like a princess. Like, the guy is just not built to be a footballer anymore. He needs to capitalize on his 6+ foot physique and his very well constructed face and jawline. He needs to go straight back to Argentina and do some magazine shoots, because his life as a footballer is probably done. He went to Marseille. He sucked at Marseille. The only thing he did for Marseille was score a penalty in a penalty shootout. I remember some people putting up clips of him celebrating him scoring that penalty and going, hold up, is the data lying to me? When did Joaquin Correa celebrate? And I had to comment, I'm like, nah, he scored a penalty for Marseille was it the quarter or of like either the Europa or the Conference League? It might have actually been the Conference League, to be honest. So our situation with the attacking department is, it is what it is. We've got a 150 million euro man up front now, Lautaro Martinez, 5 goals in the Copa America. the winning goal in the Copa America. You could almost call it like the passing of the guard, the changing of the guard of Lionel Messi to Lautaro Martinez in the Argentina national kit. Lautaro Martinez will head that team. Now, see, he should have been starting every single game, although the manager will be able to hold his hand up now and say, no, I knew exactly what I was doing. Calma, tranquilo. With Lautaro and Thuram effectively occupying about 200 to 220 euros of cap between the two of them, Arnautovic and Taremi as the substitutes, we need one more attacker. You need one more forward. You can't really go into next season with just those men because we've got more games, more competitions. So no, there needs to be more than just Toro, Thuram, Taremi and Arnautovic. There has to be more than that. As we go through our other targets and where might need filling, I mean, Zielinski. Let's talk about Zielinski next, and let's talk about the midfield. Our other signing, locked up in January, Zielinski, coming into the midfield to replace an aging Mkhitaryan, to give some slight minute relief from Barella, to maybe, just maybe, allow Hakan to move a little bit more forward. Either or, this Zielinski signing is a top signing for me. This is exactly the sort of signing a Scudetto winning side needs to make to continue. Now, keep in mind, we are the champions. And at the back end of this video, I will touch on one other issue that needs to be spoken about. But we are the champions. So signings like this are completely normal. They sustain you at the top. You're picking off the ripe pieces of fruit from the branches in Serie A that need to be picked from. This is what happens when a team wins a league. It's the Bayern Munich way. It's the way you know who used to do stuff in this country. They didn't need to spend 85 million on Gonzalo Higuain. They were rumored to go for Benzema or Lewandowski or Luis Suarez. But at the same time, someone like Marotta would have gone in there and went, all right, this is how much money you want to spend. This is how much money you want to go in. The only thing that could touch us was Higuain last season at Napoli. Take him. Why go and buy a foreign midfielder for 50 million euros when you can get Pjanic for almost half that price from Roma and knock the next midfield threat off in the league? That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing with the Zielinski signing. I actually hoped we would have gone one further in Italy than this. I was actually hoping us to go and pick off some ripe pieces of other fruit. I would have thought we would have gone for Belotti or Berardi, and I know that they're not going to set the world on fire. I know that those aren't marquee signings. I know those are signings that you shouldn't really be hearing anymore. But when you're looking for numbers, when you're looking for statistics, when you're looking to replace numbers lost, Marotta does that. I actually fully expected Beppe Marotta to go in with a bid for Domenico Berardi. I really expected him to do it. I don't think he will now. I think we're a little bit past that now. Interesting. Co-working space. Whenever I come this far out west, I'm always amazed. Always amazed at what I see. So, with the midfield next season, we should be going into it with the regular Hakan, Barella, Mkhitaryan starting, shifting out for Zielinski with the likes of Aslani as your next substitute on the bench. And I know I'm missing one midfielder. I think I'm missing one midfielder. Hakan, Barella, Mkhitaryan. Oh yeah, Fratesi. Who could forget Fratesi? Fratesi, another player that'll probably play more of a makeshift role next season. I expect to see him bombing forward a lot more. He might even play a couple of games as second striker or as coming off a false nine. Who knows? Who knows how he's going to play next season? But he's definitely there. He's definitely one of our players again. So yeah, can't complain about that. Barella, Hakan, Mkhitaryan, Zielinski, Aslani, Fratesi. Very, very, very happy with that midfield. Very happy. Couldn't be happier, actually. The only thing that would make me happier with that midfield would be to get someone like Kurt Miners. But even though I've raved on about him for the last 3 years, he's definitely not coming to us. And if he's going anywhere, he's going to the worst possible location for us. So I can't really speak about Turn Cook Miners anymore the way I used to. But those of you that have watched this channel long enough know that I was on this guy's Dutch dick before he'd even came over from Alkmaar. So I sort of wish that our directors had our head in that one, because it was such an easy talent to identify. And yeah, I know that, like, I was watching the Dutch league quite closely. My first cousin married into a Dutch family from Alkmaar. So my football conversations with that gentleman, my cousin now, my now cousin turn, would always revolve around Dutch football. So yeah, I did have more of a keen interest in that transfer than a few others, but that's not going to happen. So hopefully he either sticks around at Atalanta or goes somewhere else. Let's go to the defense and think about what's going to happen there, because as I've said from the start of the market, I think we need one more defensive signing, and it has not arrived yet. The rumors were this Colombian kid, Cabal, who did not go to the Copa America. We were rumored to be talking him, and the furthest we went was agreeing a wage. We agreed the 1.5 a season wage, which isn't that bad, to be honest. However, we never even went to the negotiation table with Verona. We never went to that table. So the fact that Giuntoli and Juve have come in and said, okay, don't worry about it, we'll just give you your asking price, 12 million. Guys, there is no need to be upset about this. If I was a Juventus fan, I would be asking questions. I wouldn't be just waking up going, we snaked another Inter player. We did it again. Giuntoli's done it again. Bro, how many minutes has Thiago Giallo played for Juve since signing for him? 0. Cabal's got the same amount of minutes. I don't care 1 second when their director looks at our piece of paper and copies on their test. This is a fear play. This is a fear factor. And I guarantee you Marotta barely had an interest in this Cabal guy, because if he did, he would have gone straight to Verona again. He would have gone straight to them and lowballed them and went, yeah, we can't, we'll offer this. He didn't even go there. Do not stress, bro. This guy was not good enough to go to the Copa America. And now apparently he's worth 12 million. What, is he going to start 38 games next season for Juve? Brother, please, we ain't going to lose sleep after that. And that brings me to my last topic of conversation. Do you want to be physically healthy to the point where you wake up and go, oh, I think I only need to change 1 or 2 things about my diet, and I think I'm at my optimal level? Or do you want to wake up with a bung, with 2 bung limbs, sick, exhausted, broken, battered, bruised, requiring open heart surgery and 150 million euros, 200 million euros to fix your problem? Because that's what they have to do. That's what they have to do. So let the open heart surgery continue with multiple new players from multiple countries. I hope that they've got the patience in Turin as they do in Napoli for Giuntoli. Because if they don't win it this year, after all the money they're splashing, or if they don't win it, or if they don't come very close, remember last year with no Champions League football, they sucked a lot of dick. They were very bad. That was an absolute shambles of a season. So they've got one job. Again, let's see how they go. I mean, of course, they're in Europe this time around, which is going to present an even bigger issue for them. Let's go to Milan. Alvaro Morata has signed for them, which I don't think is a bad move at all for Milan. I think that he's a good player with still a lot to give. I look forward to him saying it's always been a dream for him to sign for Milan, the same way Romelu Lukaku will say it's always been a dream for him to sign for Napoli. You know, it's going to be a very interesting season in Serie A, a season where Inter needs to know that we are ahead. We are still ahead. And I'll say hello to you when I see you. Thanks for coming through. The problem is that when you go into next season with so many chess pieces that move left and right, it's hard to get them to move forward. It's hard to get them to move forward. So when we're looking at our chessboard next season, knowing that we're going to play the exact same game plan with some tweaks. I love how Inzaghi said, you know, it's up to me to be unpredictable. You guys can go. It's up to me to be unpredictable. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Let's go into it with the same more than capable athletes, knowing that we're going to wreak havoc, man. This Inter team is going to wreak havoc next season. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Are we going to go back to back? I hope so. I really hope so, because I think we're only about 1 or 2 signings away from being able to stand up with our chest going, yo, we need to win this again. I'm not standing up today right now going, yo, we need to win this again. It's mandatory. Because we did win it last season. And with the way that Juve are spending, they need to be able to talk about the conversation as well. I'm not going to listen to any of their fans again that say top 4's the target. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Top 4's the target. How many more years are you going to say that top 4 is the target when your club comes out and says the title is the target? Maybe they've learned their lessons. Maybe this season they will come out and be more conservative with their approach. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. I saw Bruno yesterday and he said he wants a break. I could start the club football season tomorrow. I could start the club football season tomorrow. And I'd be really happy to start it too. What else is the market going to hold for us, but who are we going to go in for? Let's go back to the defense. Obviously, we've signed Martinez for the keeping role, but Zoma will still be the starter. So Zoma, Martinez rotate there. I have no idea who our third choice goalkeeper is, actually. I have no idea who our third choice goalkeeper is. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, I don't know. I don't know who the third choice keeper is. Let's go back to what's it called? The defense. So Bastoni heads it, obviously. You need to choose obviously between Acerbi and De Vrij. Look, De Vrij's performance in the Euros was good, but he still had a couple of his moments that we're not prepared to relive and for him to be responsible for going into this season. No more Giroud situations, please. No more turnt situations once again. We're not having it. We're not having it whatsoever. So I don't want De Vrij to be our main starting head. Acerbi and De Vrij rotating, it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, it starts to scare me. We're not back to where we need to be defensively in that sense. Now that brings me to the last target and the last thing. I've been saying from the start, and I said it a couple of weeks ago, but then I had to stop saying it when he started performing for Italy, because once again, if there's going to be any club in this country that signs him, it's probably going to be Juve. But if I were Marotta and co, I'd be going in with everything for Calafiori. Everything. Put every dollar that you can possibly get in there for him, and then chuck a player or two on top. See how you go with that. Because whoever gets him in Italy has really built solid for the next 7 or 8 years. Like, Napoli getting Buongiorno is probably your best defensive signing of the market. It is the best defensive signing of the Italian market. But if Italian team can scoop Calafiori, well, it's a whole different ballgame. However, I am still very reluctant to believe that any club in Italy is going to be able to afford him after the Euros that he had. However, Italy got eliminated very early in the Euros, so his price tag fresh off that game against Croatia and Spain and Albania, that price tag probably isn't still going to hold its worth deep into the market. I'm talking about the 60 million tag. If the 60 million tag is there now, it shouldn't be by the end of the market. It should be back down to 50. That's how inconsistent this part of the industry is. I don't think there's anything else much to talk about because we're very close to being ready. So the news isn't hypey. We've got nothing really to look at the moment. We had a young kid sign for us. I think his name's Alex Perez from Betis or something like that. But he'll go out on loan straight away. It doesn't, obviously the team's not very changed from last season, albeit we've got two very, very reliable pieces that we've brought in. The Zielinski Taremi transfers are great transfers, which is why a couple of weeks ago when fans were getting up in their grill of, oh, why aren't Inter linked to any players? Why this, why that? Why are the other clubs moving and we're not? We don't need to move, yo. We don't need to move. What do you want? Do you want to finish the league 5 games clear and need to tweak? Or do you want to finish the league 20 to 25 points behind and simply say that if you have another season like that, you risk all losing your jobs? So it's fucking, what's it called? It's backs against the wall level stuff for a couple of our rivals. It's desperation times for almost all of them. Napoli, like, Conte is a desperate move. Like, it's a great move, don't get me wrong. I love the move that Napoli's making for Conte. I can't wait, and I think he's going to do well there. And the fact that they've got Oriali coming with him as well, yeesh, going to be dope. I'm about to go through a tunnel, so sorry if it cuts out. But It's desperate. De Laurentiis spending that much on a manager and saying, yeah, we'll get you Lukaku. That is desperate. Desperate. Juve. Desperate. Thiago Motta, former Inter player. Desperate. Even though they don't care about that too much, I wouldn't either. Desperate. Selling Federico Chiesa because they're scared that he won't re-sign a contract. Desperate. Once again, going for an Inter target when they had no interest in him before. Desperate. Alvaro Morata is a desperate move. I don't think it's a bad one, but I think it's a desperate one. So I'm not worried. I'm very positive. To be honest, I don't think I've had a preseason this stress-free for Inter since I was in high school. Like, it's incredible. I'm telling you, we're going back 15, 16, 17 years since I had a preseason where I was like, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? Because even the year before we won the treble, I was stressing shit because Zlatan left. And Mourinho was the only one keeping us confident, going, don't worry, we don't need him to win the Champions League. Yeah, well, guess what, cuz? You're gonna need more than just your words to convince me, Jose. And it was more than words. It was way more than words. Forza Mourinho, Forza Inter. Yeah, man, we're not desperate. We're looking good. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident Inzaghi's systematic processes with this group of players is going to see us win football games with ease in Serie A. With ease. But there will be plenty of times where we struggle as well. I'm sure of that. I'm absolutely sure of that. If there's nothing really else to talk about, I think we'll keep it at 23 minutes. We'll keep it at 23 minutes. It's starting to get pretty dark and gloomy where I'm driving as well, so I might need to concentrate that little bit harder. So yeah, at the moment, nothing really to report on, apart from the fact, hey brother, how you going? Lucas, you've come here before. I really appreciate it, bro. If there's one thing I appreciate more than Inter fans coming here, it's rival fans, especially after I've just spent the last 5 minutes trashing your club again. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. We are favourites, bro. We are definitely favourites. We're clear favourites. Juve are always favourites because your fans, majority of them, talk yourselves up for clout and ego on social media without even diving into the issues, Lucas. That's what I think. That's just my personal opinion, and you can tell me that I'm being biased. Of course, you have every right to say that. But when I see Juve fans reacting on social media, it's always with chest. It's always like, ha-ha, Giuntoli. And I'm not saying that just now because it's Giuntoli. You did the same shit with Cherubini. Cherubini, best thing since sliced bread. Cuz, what the fuck was that all about? Paratici's the guy. Paratici's the man. Bro, Paratici didn't do one good thing for your club. Once Marotta left, all the fruit fucking fell. And I know that there's still a group of Juve fans that still can admit the turning point of the once great Juventus. The turning point of the badge change, the turning point of the directors leaving, including Beppe, the turning point of the Ronaldo signing, the turning point of the rebranding and remarketing and the treatment of the Ultras. I'm not saying this to be a hateful Inter fan, brother. I'm saying this because it's truthful. And the fact of the matter is, I started this channel. I'm talking directly to you, Lucas, now, my bro. I started this channel about 5 years ago. It's a different channel now. It's called IWW Extra because we got demonetized. And you'll hear my early podcasts and my early Paratici couldn't sell life jackets on the Titanic. If you look at my early videos, a lot of them I'm getting really negative comments from the Inter fans because I'm there referring to you guys about how you're doing what you're doing, and I'm jealous and I'm upset all the time. I'm always envious. I'm like, why the can't we pull a Dani Alves? Why the can't we pull a Khedira? Why can't we pull 3 chess pieces in 3 weeks to replace these guys? Why are such good players leaving Juve and better ones coming in? Why? Why do they make it look so easy? We're making it look slightly easy without a lot of money at the moment. That's the power of a really, really, really good director. At the end of the day, I think the players for Inter identify with the badge on the front of the chest more than the Juve players identify with their badge on the front of the chest. And it's a serious conversation I had with my auntie and with another couple of Juve fans who were agreeing. It's the Manchester United curse. The badge on the front of the chest, because of how successful it was, is too heavy for the name on the back. It's too heavy for the name on the back. These United players, mate, they are so much, I think a lot of them are a lot better than what they've been playing the last 5-6 years. That club turned poison. And I dare say under Paratici, Nedved, the last few days of Agnelli, and the restructure with Cherubini, that was poison. That was toxic. And the toxicity has remained with Max Allegri up until he left. And now you guys get to start again. And I'm all here for it, because I actually do genuinely, I don't want your club to be more successful than Inter, but I've also been an Italian football fanatic for almost 3 decades. A strong, systematic, structured Juventus means another trophy for La Nazionale. A strong, well put together Juventus means a successful Italia. But guess what? When all the fucking retarded sectors of the Juve together and go, the Italian team's only shit because the Juve players aren't there, ha ha. All right, no worries, bro. Open up your garage and show me your Ferrari, your Giorgio Chiellini. Show me your Lamborghini, your Gigi Buffon. Yeah? Show me your Pirlo. Show me your Marchisio. Show me your Camaronesi. Show me your Barzagli. Show me your Bonucci. Show me your garage. You can't, because your garage is filled with fucking donkeys with a bung leg that need to be put down tomorrow. There ain't no strong Italian Juve players. That's why they weren't there. So half of the argument is correct, directed by completely retarded fans that don't know how to sell their own argument. I would love for a strong Italian represented Juve to go and win a national trophy. Show me a strong Italian Juve player. They're not there. Yeah, go. Take Locatelli and De Sciglio to Euro. I'm sure we would have made the final then. Let's go, Marty Mo. Alex is in the house as well. I know we're on the Zielinski Taremi topic, but... Oh, Italy's under 19s and 20s. Yeah. They did really well, man. They did very well. The problem with the Italian system is that how many of those 18 and 19-year-olds are going to get their minutes boosted in Italy? How many of those players are going to see their minutes boosted in Serie A? I don't even know, bro. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that in another video. There's 11 people here now, so I don't mind sticking around a bit longer. Lucas. No, that's why I like listening to you. Oh, thank you very much, bro. Appreciate it. And just so you know, like, yeah, I hate your club, but I don't hate people, man. I don't hate fans. Like, I would much rather sit down with a Juve fan with a beer or a coffee, talk, smile, laugh, banter, agree, disagree, stand up, shake hands. I don't want to do the whole yell across the table at each other, because nobody wins in that situation. Nobody wins in that situation. I agree a lot with what you say about the rival clubs, even if it's hating on my own club. Yeah, it's, oh, dude, and like, you're on my channel. We're back. I'm going to cut this really bad territory. Don't let the last 9 to 10 months fool you on my channel. We've had a really good last year. You check my content prior to 9 to 10 months ago, I'm the first to jump on our asses, man. We have been horrible, to say the least, so many times. And yeah, trophies have come with it the last few years, but that doesn't mean us fans that are the most passionate aren't calling out every insufficiency and every bit of bullshit that we could. A lot of us, and I was saying this big time, bro, when it happened, everyone is seeing the advantage now of not being owned by the Chinese, of not having Suning and Zhang's regime of debt behind us. We've still got the debt, but now that it's collateralized within this fund and this Oak Tree company, who now know the value of whether they're going to invest some money because it will pay back dividends, whether they need to sell an asset because there's no impulse decisions, you know what I mean? No stupid impulse decisions. Oh yeah, I do rate Cambiasso. I think Cambiasso's a good player, man. I think he's a good player. I think he should get lots of minutes for Juve this season. And I do think Fagioli's probably going to get up there as well. So yeah, some good up and coming players there. I think the top teams having an under 23 squad can help the young Primavera graduates. Yeah, well said, Anth. I'd have to agree with that as well. I'd have to agree. I know Inter's looking into something like that now, but we are very limited with what we can do in terms of growing the club while we've still got this level of debt. So sustainability started on the pitch. You know, which is why I know why a lot of our rivals are still so frustrated, and I know why a lot of them, especially some of the Juve fans, they wake up and kick the bucket in the morning and have a hissy fit, because it wasn't meant to go down the way it went down. When Conte left, the desire was meant to leave with it. The Bastoni, the Italians were meant to leave with him. Hakimi left, it was a disaster. Lukaku left, it was a disaster. Eriksen went down on the pitch because of his heart, it was a disaster. Every Inter fan, then it gets announced it's Inzaghi. We all think it's done. And all of our rivals are chirping. They're like, it's done. You guys will be fourth again next season. You'll never win anything again. To actually quote people, to actually quote human beings, Inter will never win anything again for as long as I'm alive. Allegri guarantees 12 to 15 competition points and a trophy. Pirlo was never supposed to be the Juve coach. Inter will no longer be challenging for the title. They will go another 10 years without winning it. I'm only quoting literally word for word what I saw on Facebook and Twitter. And then when they realized that the pitch effort was still sustaining to a degree, it became down to, all right, what else can we have a sook over? Let's go for the debt. Even though every club is in debt. All right, let's go for the fact that they're still buying players even though they're in debt and we can't. No, you can. Your club's just choosing not to. Now, the fact of the matter is that when you are owned by privatized debt, when you're owned by a private company, it doesn't really matter if you're $1 in debt or $100 million in debt. Does it really matter to you how much I still owe on my mortgage? Am I allowed to go home and live in my house tonight if I still owe $600,000 on my mortgage, or can I only go home and live in it tonight if I own $5 on my mortgage? So, yeah. The whole debate about our debt versus other debts, that's our problem, no one else's. You don't have a right to talk about it, and if it offends you that much, maybe don't list yourself as a public company and trade on the stock market when you sign Cristiano Ronaldo. There is cause and effect for everything. Stop fucking whinging. And after that, it's now just come down to the fact that Inter are cheats. Inter are cheats because they were allowed to still buy players even though they were in debt, even though you'll see us sell our assets for a really good fee and then buy cheapos or get freebies. People are just upset that Marotta didn't walk when Conte did, and that Inzaghi and the players have realized the value of the badge on the front of the jersey, and it just so happens to surpass the value on the front of the black and white jersey and the red and black jersey. Our badge is heavier at the moment than the Juve badge and the Milan badge, and that is a fact because the players identify with the badge and are carrying the badge with their weight. When they start to drop it, that's when we can start hating on it. But for right now, I see an Inter squad where every player is in love with the club. Not a single player wants to leave, and that is a credit to Marotta, Ozilio, and co for being able to weed out the snakes in Skriniar, in Brozovic, in Icardi, in Nainggolan, in Perisic to an extent, in Lukaku. Inter is a club where if the 90% are on board, get the 10% the fuck out. Which is something good that Juve did yesterday by getting Rabiot, the fucking dog, out of there as well. 7.5 to 8 million a season. Is that frog serious? Is that frog serious, bro? That'll one thing I'll commend you guys on. I hate Adrien Rabiot. I really don't like him. I never want to see him get a big contract again. Anyway, let me scroll up just a second. Lautaro Ballon d'Or, top 5 contender, arguably top 3. Me personally, I'd give it to Dani Carvajal. Italy's main problem, it's difficult to get the young players to adapt to Serie A, yeah, which is why I worry about the future of the Azzurri for sure. Like, Lucas, how many pragmatic managers in Italy are going to choose a 31, 32-year-old rotational player with experience over a 21-year-old? I'm just throwing random names out there now, but in a hypothetical situation, someone's going to choose a Jack Bonaventura over the next 21-year-old best midfielder. Someone's going to choose that. And that was literally just a shot out of the dark example. You could replace Bonaventura with many other aging players in Serie A, okay? You know, the Cabal signing that we were willing to entertain. We were willing to entertain Verona. Maybe we could meet them at about 8 or 9 million. Why do you think we're talking to Ricardo Rodriguez in the background for free and only offering him 1.5 million a season? Because we know he's more of a guarantee than 12 mil on Cabal. Cabal ain't going to start. Cabal ain't going to play. He ain't going to play. He's only left-footed. Di Marco, Augusto, Bastoni. Bro, that guy was never going to play. Ricardo Rodriguez, however, someone who won't demand minutes, who'll bring that locker room presence. I don't really like the signing because of how useless it happens to be longevity-wise, but I see everything to do with it over the next 12 months. Everything. Everything. I hope Kamada is able to settle well. Yep. Yeah, look, I don't want to say that they're not going to win anything because, Lucas, it's always famous last words, brother. Whenever you say with chest, ha ha ha, those motherfuckers are never going to win anything with that, they end up doing it, bro. Exactly what happened with Inter the last 4 years, bro. Everyone thought we were going to sink our asses. All we did was swim to the top. But I am going to say this because you brought it up, Lucas, and because it's a small chat and you have that interaction. I see Milan challenging for top 4 and potentially missing out. And it would make me really happy if it happened, man. It would make me really happy because after they won number 19, I do believe that they thought they were going to buddy up with Juve and be the supreme team once again, those two. And I don't think anyone really prepared Milan for their last 2 seasons properly after winning the Scudetto, because backing up your Scudetto isn't something that should be asked to do, but you should never bomb it the way Milan bombed it last season to Napoli. And the way Inter bombed it, 2 seasons ago now, and the way Inter bombed it 2 seasons ago to Napoli. Inter bombed it to Milan as well. Don't get me wrong, we bombed it hard, but we didn't bomb it to the extent that we were out of the race in December. We bottled it. We bottled the title to Milan. We didn't bomb the title, we bottled it. It was in our hands and we bottled it. We bombed the title by being out of it in January for Napoli. The same way Napoli bombed their title by November. That's my opinion. The same way Juve did not bottle anything. They bombed it in January because Max Allegri is a borderline sociopath. Something Barcelona have been doing for the last decade. Exactly right. See, Lucas knows. You've got a Juve fan literally in the chat going, that's what Barca do. Bro, there was a deadline day where Barcelona directors were negotiating a transfer in the alleyway of a courtroom or of a building, government building, 2.5 hours after the window closed. Do you want to know why they did that? Because they didn't want to be seen on camera anywhere still talking after deadline day, because then they'd know that the deal was fucking dodge. I forget who it was for. It might have been for someone like a Ousmane Dembele or a Coutinho or a Malcolm or a Griezmann. One of those stupid big purchases that wasn't going to make it over the line. Actually, no, I think it might have been later on. It might have been for like a Marcos Alonso or something like that. Or a Kessier. Something wasn't going to get over the line. And I'm sure, Lucas, you know what I'm talking about. But Barcelona have been doing this for time, bro. Time. Manchester United have been doing it for time. They've been making so much revenue and cap that people don't look at their debt. And you know what? Inter started making a lot more money the last few years. I know that our debt grew, but guess what? A lot of our income did as well. We just had so much, we just really couldn't use it for anything useful, eh? Sign Nico Williams for 80 million. Yeah, they can't pay their wages. It's bullshit. Coach, every summer, and I know how you teach, the bond is so important, man. Very important. Very important. 8 million a season, but yeah, bro. And I know that this is a big problem when you've got family in your corner, like his mum being his agent and shit like that, but at some point in time, common sense must prevail. It must prevail. And I actually think he's very lucky that he was able to sign for Juventus when he did, because now he can look back at his career and go, hey, Paris, Juventus, pretty good. And we know that he's free now, yeah? He'll be a free agent. And on the contract, that's an easy contract for an English side to pick him up. And it will be a stupid club. It will be a Chelsea or a Man United or maybe even an Arsenal that pick up. You know what? Barcelona might even pick up his signature. Barcelona might even pick up his signature because it's no money down. I hope that Inter doesn't, bro. We don't need Rabiot for even one season. If Inter were to come in for a 1 season bid for Rabiot for 7.5, 8 million, what would my reaction be? You'd get a 3-part reaction. First part, why? What for? Was it necessary? I need your help in the chat, guys. Number 2, fuck yeah. Another Juve player that's going to put on our kit and win a trophy and rub it in their face, a la Cuadrado. Let's go. Why not? I'm happy to do this because I know there's a sector of the Juve fans that get really, really cookie, and I'll rub that in their face. Shameless, pettyless stuff. Option 3 will be the I hate Adrien Rabiot stream. I don't want to see him in my club. He is literally one of the few players on the planet that I hate. I never hated Juan Cuadrado. I hated his attitude, and I thought, gee, that's a player that you really hate if you're against, but you'd like to have. Rabiot, never liked him, hated him, just hate him to the point of no return. probably because it's French. And yeah, I just don't see why Inter would occupy a contract like that for one season. I know 7.5, 8 million for one season isn't a big deal if you achieve your season's goals, but it's a gamble not worth taking. What are you gonna do? Go to Rabiot and go, here's 7.5 million in case we need you to win the Scudetto again. Come on, man. What's Fratesi gonna say about that? Not gonna happen, bro. Not gonna happen. Why is the government pulling people over driving on the road? What's going on there? Juntally cleaning up the wages of this club has been so refreshing. That's a big thing. That's a good thing to see, considering the last two directors haven't done shit about it. Yeah, definitely an overpaying of contracts there. So just quickly, Lucas, before I go, comment below, like, what are you thinking about the season so far? Like, if we were to kick off the season today or tomorrow, how would you place maybe the top 4 or 5 clubs? What I need to do on this channel, and possibly on the Football Worldwide channel as well, is I need to definitely start looking at some of the mid-table clubs, the relegation, the bottom level side. Start looking at their market, start looking at their activity. Obviously, it's a lot easier now. International break is over, thank God. Even though this one was a competitive one, it's still a pain. No one likes the international break, for God's sake. This could be the most exciting Serie A season I've seen in a long time. Oh, yeah, bro. And like, I can only speak for myself, but for a majority of Inter fans, now that we've got what you call the monkey off your back, the monkey off your shoulder, and, you know, La Seconda Stella is on the chest, now we can sort of take a step back and watch it and enjoy it a lot more. You know, had we not won that title last season, it's just another season of, we've underachieved the current regime and the previous one. We've underachieved the potential dynasty that we wanted. And that means winning the title with Conte was not enough. We had to see another Scudetto. We had to see it, and it had to come today, yesterday. We weren't waiting for it. We were overdue. We wanted it. We should have got it 2 seasons ago. We should have got it the season before last. We did it. Now I'm so happy to take a step back and go, I'm happy to enjoy Serie A as a Inter fanatic, neutrally not willing to judge and be too emotional about it. If we win the league, I'll be on top of the world. If we don't win it, as long as we fought up until match day 36, 37, 38, I will be upset, but I won't be disgusted. Don't have a shitty season. Don't surrender your title straight away. I love looking at an abandoned pub when I go past it. What a beautiful thing to see. General store news agency guy. I'm about an hour and a half, 2 hours out west of Sydney. I'm not in Sydney anymore, by the way, nowhere near it. 2 hours out of Sydney, and everything is just independently owned. There is no franchise shit out here. It's an independent grocer. It's a small service station. Like, there's shops out here that would never survive a day in Sydney. Like, what the fuck? Antique collectibles, collectibles, in the Ugg boot store. What the fuck is that, bro? You wouldn't last 1 week in Sydney. Your rent would completely capsize your ass. Good for these people. Good for these people, man. I really do want to relocate out here. Well, not out here, just more out of Sydney in the next half decade. The rat race, metropolitan life, it's not worth it. If you haven't got family or a job in a city, in the actual city, get the fuck away from the city. There's too much life, nature to be enjoyed to stay in between concrete jungles and buildings. I want to feel the wind on my face. I want the grass greener. I want it to be freezing cold in the morning and scorching hot on a summer's day, man. All right, last few comments and then we're done. Top will be Inter, Napoli, Juve, and Milan. I think I'll agree, except because Bologna's not going to be around there again. I think if Atalanta can keep Koopmeiners, because they confirmed De Catalare, you might see Atalanta go for it again. I don't think the Roman sides are going to challenge at all, to be honest. When it came to the Zirkzee deal, his agent wanted 15 million in commission. Jesus Christ. These agents, these agents are ruining the game, cuz. They're ruining the game. Ruining it completely. Napoli, yeah, Conte on 1 game a week, very dangerous. Napoli scamming more than Inter right now. Yeah, like, Conte, no Europe. That's it. There doesn't need to be a third dot point. You don't need to bring a debate to the table. The debate is in your dot points, is in the title, you know? Your answers are in the questions. I would be more confident going to San Siro and picking up some points. Yeah. Oh, dude, the the games I'm looking forward to next season the most are Inter Napoli, because I'm just so curious to see how Inter would welcome back Conte at the San Siro. I think that we would welcome him back with open arms, because he was never truly one of us. He came in, did us a favor. We were friends for 2 years, and now he's left, and we'll be happy to welcome him back to our house for a cup of tea. I don't think he gets welcomed back to Turin very well, because he didn't get welcomed back there very well last time when he was at Inter. And I think that with the whole Allegri situation, Lucas, a very large sector of your fan base was in for Conte more for Motta. And I'm just saying, for what I was seeing from experience, most fans that I saw wanted Conte back pretty much over Motta, because it was the best way to guarantee success. He's moved to Napoli now after Inter. Let's face it, Juve is probably the second biggest rival in the league. Now puts his move back to Turin, I would say, half a decade further on, or almost impossible to return ever again. You might not see Antonio Conte come back to Juve ever again, or if you do, it could be at a point in his coaching career where he just might not be as scary as he was before. Football's changing. His style of football is outdated. He just happens to be one of the man managers left in the world that can get the most out of a group of athletes. But even he expires after a few seasons. You know, he's doing a better job than what Mourinho could do with a group of players now, mentally. A better job than what Allegri could do with a group of players mentally. But it's still a big ask for Conte. A big ask for Conte. I don't know how I feel about relying on Matty Dams again this season. Yeah, bro. I said 2 years ago that we shouldn't be relying on Matty Dams, even though I'm happy to have him stay. I said it a couple of years ago, this could be the season Matteo Darmian pisses us off. This was before 2021-22. Guess what? That was not the case. He did not piss us off. He was great. I then said it again before 22-23. This could be the season that Matteo done. Guess what? It didn't happen as well. This should be the year that Matteo Darmian, Ferrari, what the hell, 2 Ferraris back to back in the western side of New South Wales. You never see that in your life. We have got some rentals, or we have got some cocaine trafficking going on from the suburbs up to the city. Take your pick. What was I saying? This Ferraris jacked my thought process. Yeah, and I said it for last season. Is this going to be the season that Matteo Darmian plays games where we go, fuck, he's done. He's finished. I'm going to say it again. This should be the season where Matteo Darmian and Francesco Acerbi show us that they need to go. I'm happy to keep them around again, because I know that they're good enough, and I know that they've just won trophies. You don't have to send them out. But they will give us some Melito Maicon vibes the year after they won the treble. Believe that. Believe that. Okay? So, yeah, I'm with you all the bloody way on that one, Alex. Trust me. Ant says Conte can get the most out of Napoli squad. I don't know. It'll be tough to challenge for the Scudetto. I think that he's challenging for the Scudetto up till January, February. After that, I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens. Last question. Do you think you'll collab with any other... Yes, I actually will, bro. Lucas, my friend. Ale and I on the Bianconeri Zone are actually going to be putting together a show for you guys for this season once a month. Or maybe even twice a month. It'll be one episode on mine. Really asked that question because Alejandro and I are working in the background on a show project for us to bring for you guys and for our guys, and it will be a Serie A culture-based focus program, which focuses more on, say, the first segment being about Inter and Juve, so we can give a bit of a recap about our own clubs, have a joke, have a vent, get a little bit cranky at ourselves, get a little cranky at one another, and then move into talking about Serie A, main headlines, transfer news. We'll maybe have a couple of more personal segments where we bring a couple of things to the table. But other than that, it will be. Guys, I need to actually start buzzing my boys and let them know how far away I am from this party. So we are done out here. That was really enjoyable. Everybody stay safe. Be nice to one another. Forza Inter, Forza Lucas, baby. And Forza everybody else in the chat. Thank you very much, Alex and Anth. Thank you, everybody. Lucas, you're the real MVP today, bruv.